to get going today, and so is MJ Walker for Florida State. So their health has been going in the opposite direction. And we are underway as the Noles win the opening tip, coming in number 8 in the country. They are 60-3 in their last 63 home games, which is just amazing.
That's incredible.
Walker on the baseline, lost command of it. Shot clock down to 9. That's a traveling violation on Vassell to give it right back to the Hurricanes. And Miami under Jim Larrañaga, they've had 8 opponents score 80 or more, so defense has been a real problem for them. And with no Rodney Miller as your anchor on the inside, that defense becomes just a little bit more vulnerable. Coach Larrañaga told us before the game, yep, we definitely expect them to press us and press us and press us, and they did it right out of the gate on the first possession for Miami. Now here's Wong on the wing. Wong averaging about 5 points a game, the freshman, getting inside and 1. And Wong only knows one speed in attack mode. That foul on Osborne. We were talking about those injuries, Katie. How badly will those affect the Canes today?
Well, both guys are actually available to come off the bench. Chris Lykes missed the last 4 games with a groin injury, but he went through his first full practice yesterday. Jim Larrañaga said he looked good. He had great bounce and great energy, while McGusty looked more stiff as he continues to deal with back spasms. I asked if Lykes would be on a minutes restriction. Larrañaga said no, but his game fitness will dictate how much he's on the floor today, Dave.
Canes will force the turnover. Jordan, that's 30 points for the two of them combined. Beverly going airborne, and he takes a knock. And he'll be at the line to shoot 2.
Yeah, and Katie's report there is very important for Hurricanes fans. I mean, look, the Canes were able to hang with Florida State last month in an overtime game. Those 2 performers combined for half of their production in that game. So it speaks to just how important they are.
Raekwon Gray with the personal foul to put Harlan Beverly, the freshman from Detroit, at the line. He has now started 5 consecutive games. Big guard who can play multiple positions.
We've only played 1 minute of basketball, but it's huge, OB, to the mindset of Miami. They're not overwhelmed by the pressure and the attacking defense. They're meeting it with an aggressive style of their own.
Off to a nice little 5-0 right out of the gate as Walker controls it. On the attack in the lane and tipped away as MJ Walker gets into the fold. He was critical at Miami in the victory earlier this season. He had 19 points in that game. He's fouled by Beverly, who picks up his first.
And producing those all in the second half. I mean, just an explosive performance for Walker, and it's kind of the mentality of this Florida State team. Anybody can give it to you at any given time in the game when called upon.
Very good foul shooter. He's at 82%. In fact, it's one of the separators, I think, and one of the reasons that FSU was able to win a lot of close games. Leonard Hamilton talked about this with us in his office about an hour ago. They make foul shots. They hit 77% as a team.
Best in the conference.
So their first 2 come from the line here this afternoon.
You're going to see a lot of this pressure from Florida State. With young guards like McGusty not on the floor, they're going to test these guys who quite simply haven't logged a lot of minutes to see if they'll give the ball away.
Beverly was recruited by Kansas, Michigan State, and Indiana. Down the lane, that's a tough left-handed shot, but off the mark. And now transition, here come the Seminoles. They still have Duke, SU, and Pitt coming up in succession. So a tough schedule right around the corner after a big rivalry game today. Wong will step back and fire and knock it down. He hits a 2-pointer.
Wong has been a confident performer since taking over as a starter due to the injuries. The last 4 games, 14 points per game. He likes to challenge the defense.
Vassell short, and a rebound tip out of bounds by the Seminoles. So far 19-3, 9-2 in the ACC. They're the only team in the league to go undefeated at home so far. Both the Noles and the Duke Blue Devils coming into the weekend trailing conference frontrunner Louisville. Louisville at 11-1 in the conference. They trail them by 1 game. Duke, of course, has North Carolina at 6 o'clock. And the Bill has Virginia at 4.
A couple good games on his slate. We're getting his kick started here, OBs.
Long pushed out of the lane. Just getting started here in Tallahassee. And a line driver, that's going to rattle in. On the money by Stone. There was a question about whether he would start today, getting an opportunity with the other guys, the key guys injured, and producing right away.
Only 1 of 12 from the three-point line this season, but capable in the last 3 years, showing he can hit that shot.
Oh, Williams didn't touch anything. Patrick Williams, a 6'8" freshman. Completely off the mark. Long trying to get inside again, but not there this time. Williams on the run, will stuff it as he goes airborne.
It's called getting an easy one to get yourself acclimated. Don't love the three-point shot from the play before, but allowing your athleticism to shine in the open floor. The pursuit of those come often for Florida State with their ability to force turnovers.
Beverly down the paint and a scrap for it. Wurtenberg hitting the deck and a tie up on the play. Possession error will keep it on this end.
Well, this is fun to watch when you got athletes. Trent Forrest always has his eyes up seamlessly with the movement. Williams catches, dunks that thing like it's a tennis ball. See how massive those hands are. One of the most impressive athletes in this conference is learning how to be more physical and take it to that extra gear, and that comes with simply being a freshman. But the development has been fun to watch.
It was ranked the #1 prospect in the state of North Carolina coming out of high school. Stone stumbling and a traveling violation. So Miami with the 10-4 advantage on FSU. Canes, a team that have really scuffled in several areas of the game. They're not a real good passing team. They have been badly out-rebounded. Question is, can they hang in on the glass today? Chuck lost the handle on that one in transition. Now it's Wong. Back up top for Beverly. Beverly knocks down the jumper. Very smooth looking shot.
A couple mid-range jumpers to go for the Canes. They've got a nice little rhythm going offensively. Now Chris Like's going to make his way to the scorer's table, and confidence really builds for these Canes.
Williams swings for Evans. Now Vassell comes in averaging 13.5 points a game, but he's had some explosive games. Walker can't hit that. A battle for the rebound. FSU comes away. Stepping up right into it is Evans, and he'll knock in a three.
That speaks to the balance and selflessness of this team. Walker has a pretty good shot. Evans has a great shot, and it's that extra pass that allows for conversion.
Evans part of the Knowles rotation at the point out of Billings, Montana. How many guys from Billings, Montana find their way to Tallahassee, Florida? Shot clock down to 9. Beverly to the left hand. Good defense on him in the paint.
Vassell help side came for the deflection.
Then zips the pass on the baseline, Evans. And that time they move the basketball very well. Lilichuk finishes that, but passing very effectively on the interior.
Such a good passing team, better than 13 assists per game for this squad. They spread you out and they share it, and they're all on the same page. 5 guys with 25 assists or more speaks to just how in tune with one another the Seminoles are.
Wong took the bump. Tough angle, but he makes the shot.
Yeah, these freshman guards are having their way with dribble drives. Really beating the Seminoles defenders off the bounce. Starting at the top, breaking down the D.
Way downtown, a lot of iron, but Williams with the touch. So he tossed up the air ball. He redeemed himself with a dunk, and now he comes back with a triple.
And that dunk is important. It gives him that rhythm.
That's going to be out of bounds and go the other way. It'll be Florida State ball as they have closed the gap to 2.
Well, they say you don't know what you don't know. A freshman going against this Florida State team right there.
I think you probably could. And a win today moves Leonard into a tie with Bobby Cremins for 5th place on the all-time ACC victories list. And he got to number 350 when FSU defeated Miami in overtime in January in Coral Gables. 2-time Big East Coach of the Year, and he's done a tremendous job, of course, at FSU. Evans gives it up. Wilkes with a rainbow three. That's a shot he can certainly hit. He looks to shoot that three-pointer. Sophomore out of Orlando. On the drive, Wong takes another bump and makes the basket.
I love how aggressive Wong is. He is playing downhill at every opportunity. So far, the Seminoles have not made him meet a chest.
They'll check on the block, and they'll swing it. Anthony Polite, he's another guy who can hit that three-pointer for Florida State. It's a better shooting FSU team than in recent memory.
Wilkes is a big part of that reason.
Nice fake to get free, and a very smooth jump shot to knock that in. He's got 5.
I mean, OB, it's just overwhelming, a scouting report, when you have to know 1 through 10 in their abilities. Wilkes is a guy that comes off the bench. Like, wait, it's like the 8th or 9th guy, but he provides that offense.
Denied this time as he hits the deck, but that shot rejected. Talked about it in the open. Florida State, you know, among the very best shot blocking teams in the ACC. That's never a shock. As Williams got up high, 12:46 to go first half.
Well, a big part of it is they can change everything. So many like-minded defenders, there's no advantage. Help and recover is very seamless for this defense. So they give up nothing easy at the rim because it seems like there is always somebody protecting that goal, challenging any offense.
You saw Chris Likes in the game. The Hurricane Junior, the Dynamo at 5-7, but a turnover as FSU has surged into the lead by 1.
Miami's got to take care of the basketball. In this first matchup, they went in overtime in January. They took care of it, shot a good percentage. If you take care of it. They gave up 24 turnovers in that game, but were able to shoot it well when they value it.
Wilson fired again, got a pretty good look, and it's stuffed in out of the sky. Raekwon Evans. Man, did he get up.
One of your point guards. Speaks to the athleticism of this FSU team.
6'4".
Athletes everywhere.
Not too shabby. Cameron McGusty, who barely played in the last 4 games because of a back injury. He and Likes both checking in. He's trying to get into that paint and turns it over again. And the foul, 11:46 to go.
You gotta block out. Wilkes, he doesn't miss often, but when he does, a 6'4" guard. Hit Evans with the tip dunk. Bodies everywhere for the Seminoles.
Well, of course, that will be tonight, the renewal of that rivalry game. What are you expecting?
I would like to see North Carolina establish their interior. If they allow and Cole Anthony trusts those big guys to have a role in Brooks and Bacot, we could see a game. If it becomes Cole Anthony versus Duke, Duke should roll. But it's a rivalry. I mean, you see it's even in wins, even in points. You know we're going to have a fun one tonight.
Goldberg getting inside that paint. He drops in 2. 6'10" junior from New Zealand. Once again, well, man, he's getting going early. Wyatt Wilkes, who only averages about 3.5 points a game, now has 8.
That's Notre Dame about Wyatt Wilkes. He went absolutely off, allowing the Seminoles to get past Notre Dame.
Really seeking contact. Shoved, and he'll be at the line as well. Isaiah Wong, the freshman from Piscataway, New Jersey, putting on a show early, fouled by Williams.
Talk about trusting your teammates. Great drive for Patrick Williams to kick out to Wilkes. Catch and shoot, he is deadly. Isaiah Wong has been absolutely deadly off the bounce. And he has been able to blow by with that quick first step and attack that defense. That's what he's known as, is an attacking guard. And he's meeting an aggressive defense with an aggressive approach of his own and finding success.
Long 73% at the foul line. When he's starting, he's really contributing. 4 starts, 14 points a game. As reserve, only 3 points per game. Vasilovic, the 6'3" senior, very dangerous from the three-point land from Miami. 1-point lead here for FSU. So slamming on the brakes, and now they'll swing it to the corner. Heavy traffic and a reach and a tie-up on the play. Goes with 9 on the shot clock. Possession arrow will be Florida State's.
Florida State really trying to spread out this Canes defense. 5 offensive performers outside the arc, trying to get something going. They're playing with a smaller lineup right now. A lot of versatile pieces. Drive and kick, the formula.
Got to get a shot in the air, down to 4. Walker with a hit. Forrest will launch. And off target. Talking about Jim Larrañaga on his 9th year in Miami. Bronx native has posted 3 25-win seasons in Miami after that storybook run in the 2006 Final Four at George Mason.
He's a heck of a coach, and he's had incredible bad luck with injuries this season. It's almost like you never really fully got to understand who the Canes are because of injuries to the likes of Chris Likes and Cameron McGusty, Keith Stone. There's been no consistency or rhythm.
Malik Osborne launching. One of the 8 Noles who average at least 5 points a game. Well, Likes a little bit sloppy since he got into the ball game, that's for sure.
To be expected. Missed 4 games, missed 3 weeks of basketball. There's going to be some rust. Conditioning will be something that comes into question as well during this game today.
With a misfire, 1 done there for FSU. The Seminoles forced 24 Miami turnovers when they beat the Canes at Coral Gables, 83-79 in a game that went overtime. Likes not afraid to shoot from that distance, and he hits 37% from 3.
And it'll be going back to that game. I mean, the ability to score consistently, Miami was able to do that. They shot 47% from the field. They got what they wanted. 24 turnovers in that game is not what you want. You're not going to beat anybody doing that. But in terms of how they competed, Coach Larrañaga was very happy with his squad, and he's got to be pretty happy with the first 10 minutes of this first half.
Stone with the foul on the trip, 9:26 to go in the half. And the Noles up by 4. Brent Forrest to put it in, the 6'5" graduate who's really had a fine career here.
No question. I mean, one of Coach's favorite guys, the level of trust he has in him. He's an extension of the coach on the floor.
Walker at the rebound. On the drive and laid up and in. Vasiljevic will get 2. Typically a big-time 3-point guy. Right down the lane. That's a determined drive by Forrest. He saw an opening and he took advantage.
And he's very opportunistic like that. A 3,000-point scorer in high school. He's wired to score it, but has adjusted his game for what Coach wants. When the opportunity presents itself, he's going to pursue it.
Augusti with a 3. Around and out. The 2 of the starters who did not start today a little bit shaky here in the first half for the Hurricanes.
6'4" versus 5'7" right there. Forrest can't give up on it that easily.
The sell off target from the corner, the 6'6" sophomore. There's leading scorer, rebounder, and shot blocker. Among so many things that he does very, very well for the Seminoles. And that'll be a 3-pointer.
You don't want Chris Likes to get going. At 24 in the first matchup, he can get hot quickly, loves that rhythm bounce into the 3-point shot.
Beverly and Wilkes about to check back in. A little turnaround is too strong by Osborne.
Florida State not moving it like they typically do, becoming incredibly easy to guard these last few possessions. Settle.
That's on the penetration, a little teardrop, nothing there. Tip back out, and the line drive shot. That'll be off target by McGusty. And opens up an opportunity for the Noles to run. Forrest on the baseline, a little out of control, lost that one. So they've turned it over 5 times.
OB, he may only be 5'7", but he looms large. Chris Likes starting to get hot. Canes out here.
Welcome back to Tallahassee, where the Seminoles have a 1-point lead over Miami. I am here with one of the biggest names to come through Tallahassee, Dalvin Cook. Dalvin, for starters, what's it like being back on campus, especially here at the Tuck?
It's great to be back. in the Garden and Gold in front of all the fans, and you know, just to be back in Tallahassee where all the memories created, it's always good, man. I love Tallahassee.
The team you're watching now is currently ranked 8th in the nation, one of the best in the ACC. What do you think of the job Leonard Hamilton has done over the past couple years?
I've been seeing them evolve each and every year since I came, and to see them get to this point, so we're bringing elite players to come play for us. It's been great.
Now, on the football side of things, the program hires Memphis's Mike Norvell. What do you hope to see from him this coming year?
I know Coach Norvell. He's a good coach. I seen him at Memphis, and you know, I think he's going to bring in the right people to get this team turned around. And you know, he's the coach of Florida State, and it's about winning and you know, about hard work. So I've been seeing a lot of stuff on social media and hearing from guys. So you know, I'm happy we brought in the right guy and get this thing going.
Well, thank you for the time. Best of luck with the Vikings next season. Dave?
All right, guys, thank you very much. Football never very far from the Seminoles' mind when it comes, even this time of the year during college basketball season. Forrest with the theft over the top. Vassell with the slam on a dynamic play. Now his first basket. And about 6.5 to go here in the first half. Stone in and out. Florida State leading 32-28.
FSU looking to play fast now. Good defensive position and anticipation from Stone. But it's been the early offense here in these last few sequences, OB, that have allowed Florida State to build. Wyatt Wilkes remains hot. Got to find the hot hand. And then here, live ball turnovers. That's an unforced error. Trent Forrest knows what to do with it upstairs. And Vassell capitalizes. He's a beautiful athlete. Reminds me a lot of Paul George. Coach Hamilton was quick to correct me and said, I feel like he's more Rip Hamilton.
Yeah, he later Rip Hamilton.
Yeah, maybe trending towards, he agreed, to Paul George. Either way, incredibly high praise, and he's that kind of talent.
Look at the bench points. That's no surprise with the depth.
Can't even pay attention to that with them.
Yeah.
They're starter points for Florida State.
Long straight on, and an answer for him, a three-pointer.
He's having a day.
Really nice half.
Yeah, they just got to ride Wong at this point. His confidence is beaming.
That's 15 points.
Variety of ways, too.
Yeah.
All three levels. He's gotten to the rim. He's hit the mid-range. He's knocked down a three-point shot. Give it all.
Tripled his average already. So a tight one here in half number one. Stepping right into the long-distance shot, but that will not drop. Silovic, but it's going to be taken away. Walker won it back. Get some numbers. The layup won't go.
That's what you call a noon game sequence right there.
Yes.
Not taking care of the basketball, not fully dialed in.
We've seen a few of those. Wilkes certainly feeling it, but not this time from the corner. They get back and play some defense. You know that's the case with a Leonard Hamilton team, and a foul. And a one-point game following the conclusion of our game right here. Be sure to stay tuned for men's lacrosse. We have number 14, Loyola of Maryland, taking on the defending national champs, number 2, Virginia. They've split the last 10. It's right here on the ACC network and live on the ESPN app. As Wilkes commits the foul, and Beverly at the line with 5:10 left in the half. And Anthony Polite, 6'6" sophomore, back in now for the Noles.
Tell you what, Katie George got a chance to talk to the legendary Dalvin Cook sitting next to him. Rob Gronkowski, you know a little bit about him from your time in Boston on the Red Sox side. You know his impact with the Patriots. Imagine them in a ball screen scenario, huh?
Yeah.
I think Gronk could lay a screen or two.
And they're still dying to see if he'll make a comeback. Talking about Gronkowski in New England, and he keeps saying, I'm very, very happy doing all the things I'm doing and not getting, you know, a concussion every couple of weeks.
Yeah, right, absolutely. It's nice to be a spectator every now and again.
Shot clock down to 10.
I rang in the new year with Gronk this year.
You did?
He did a pretty good job. Well, I mean, I was watching him on a TV screen, breaking stuff.
The light gave it up. Shot clock to 1. Got to heave it up. Walker. And he hits the shot. Oh, my. And Jerry Walker from outside the building.
Not allowed to be lucky and good, are you?
Backdoor cut Stone and swatted away, but a foul, too. take another look, and we'll give you Gronk's reaction as the shot clock wound down.
Both of them love it. No spiking of the football here, though. Just the action continues on. Unflappable, though, the Canes, to their credit. You know, you see that go in, it's easy to fold and allow a run go. All Stone does is draw a foul on the other end and generate some points from the charity stripe. This is a locked-in Miami team, and it's almost like the Florida State matchup is one that feels favorable to them, given the last one was a loss, yes, but in overtime.
1 point lead here for the Noles. Evans controls. Walker wants the lane, scoops it in with a pretty shot.
Too easy. Wong was not in position to guard. Got to be down in a stance. That allows the easy blow-by attack in the closeout. Help side not there. Bad sequence defensively for the Kings.
He has 7. Talk about football. He had football offers at Clemson, Miami, and Michigan as a wide receiver. Talking about MJ Walker. Beverly to the baseline, leans in, and the follow is up and good. Vasilic, he's really been a guy on the floor who's done a lot of the dirty work today.
Typically known as a specialist from the three-point line, one of the all-time greats in a Miami uniform there. But an upperclassman who understands that you can make an impact in a variety of ways, and he has.
Walker again, and lane opening up, went to the left hand.
Great pace, too. Change in direction, tempo to get there, finishing with the offhand. MJ Walker feels fully healthy and back to doing what he does.
Wartburg with contact, and he'll be at the line. Tell you what, there's no denying that the Hurricanes are looking for that paint every time.
MJ Walker, hey, his name's MJ. You're going to expect him to be able to do it on the court. Dribble drives, hesitation, stop with Devin Vassell and Trent Forrest. And then a guy who averages 9.5 minutes per game, 3.5 points per game, and Wyatt Wilkes goes off for 11. Deja vu for Notre Dame fans who may be watching. He did this to them. 6 of 10 from 3, finishing with 19 points in that one. It's a different guy that can hurt you night in and night out for Florida State. It's a bunch of selfless guys who don't care about consistently being the star, but when the game allows them to be the guy, there's a deep-laden trust amongst all Seminoles to allow that guy to shine, and right now it's Wyatt Wilkes.
Miami at the line. Wittenberg sinks the first one. The junior from New Zealand. Miami has lost all 5 games they've played against top 20 opponents, and 4 were ranked in the top 10 at the time that they played them. And along with the injuries and a very tough schedule, which has been ranked inside the top 10 strength of schedule, that's led them to 11-11 and 3-9 in the ACC, but really hanging in today on a tough home floor here in Tallahassee.
And it's given the Canes, without a doubt, OB, some confidence to have McGusty back in the lineup, to have Likes back in the lineup. And maybe they're not giving you what they typically do, but you still feel good knowing those proven performers are out there.
Now it's swished in. Vasiljevic on the wing, where he can be very, very dangerous. 150 of his 250 shots have come beyond that three-point line.
I'm telling you, Canes fans, you might want to pay attention to the halftime score here. The Canes are leading. They are 10-0 when leading going into the half. So it's a very telling statistic, one worth paying attention to.
Walker comes right back and drains a 3 with 2:13 to go. So anticipating a pretty high-scoring game here today, and Florida State has the 42-41 advantage.
You always got to be wary of that when you're playing one of these deep teams in the conference, like a Duke, like a Louisville, like a Florida State, because they go so deep, inevitably they will wear down a rotation of 7 guys. Luckily for Miami, with McGusty and Likes back, they can play 8, so they're closer to having the depth that's needed to compete.
Walker with a big lift coming off the bench today. He's 6'5" junior from Georgia. And a timeout. Miami with 2:12 showing here. Our 1-hour documentary on the 2015 Virginia baseball team. After After losing 3-2 that heartbreaker to Vandy in Game 3 of the College World Series Finals, they made it their mission to make it. And a trip in terms of miles back to Omaha and finished the job in 2015. And Miami with a 43-42 lead, as you say. That'll send a shockwave through the ACC if they have this lead at halftime.
Maybe scoring it will.
Thornburg up and commits the foul. Olenicuk will be at the line. Member of Poland's national team and named to the FIBA World Cup team last summer in China. And at the line to shoot 2. Does not get there all that often. He's 6 out of 10 for the season, but he makes the first.
Another one of those big bodies. Coach Hamilton loves to feature a 7-foot big. Historically, they've had success. Olenicuk, no different. Key piece to the operation, and I know they're happy to have him healthy and in uniform.
He is 4. Very well traveled. Played at Drake and Ole Miss as well. Beverly gets it across. And here come the Canes. They're running this play all afternoon so far. That'll roll off the iron. Another turnover. Beverly racing for that. Will scoop it up and in. Nice half for him as well. He has 10.
I tell you, 24 turnovers for Miami in the last contest for Florida State. It's Florida State with 9 turnovers at this point, which is starting to hurt them.
Walker trying to weave his way. Forrest thought about the 3. Bounce speed on the baseline for 2. They move it very well to the big fella. Olenicuk has 6.
So much talk about Trey Jones, the stability he provides for Duke at the point guard position. Trent Forrest does absolutely that for FSU. He is stability. He is a patient guy that always keeps his composure and makes the right decision.
Back and forth we go. Beverly fouled by Osborne, who picks up number 2.
These freshman guards from Miami are playing like anything but underclassmen who are wet behind the ears. No, they are taking what has been all year long and to the success of Florida State, an aggressive defense, and back cutting it or beating it off the dribble, trying to take what is an advantage for Florida State and make it a disadvantage.
And for Beverly, it's the second game in a row like that. He's coming off a 20-point game against NC State.
Coach Larinaga said it best. You know, what a challenge for a young man who's been the backup point guard to Chris Likes, who in the 4-game absence of Likes had to become the starting point guard with no backup. Still playing all these minutes, and defense is just applying unrelenting pressure. You're going to grow on the job very quickly, and that's exactly what Beverly's done, and even shot.
Jay Walker fouled on the play. As he is hit by Vasilovic, his second. And a 1-point lead for Miami. And Likes back on. He's been on the bench quite a bit. As mentioned, out with injury, the groin injury over the top here for Polite. He's only played 7 minutes.
It's so hard for rhythm. When you're trying to get back into game shape, find shots where they typically come for you on top of sitting long spells. It's a challenge for a guy to be productive.
Final seconds of the first half. Ray to the paint. Oh, tough shot, but he made it. His first basket. So
a statement here, going to stop OB.
Yep, FSU by 1. The crowd wants that stop. And what has been a high-scoring first 20 minutes. That one poked away by Forrest. Looking for some help. He'll lean in, can't bank it in, and a whistle. And a foul on the Hurricanes.
It's incredible. That is just all effort, denying where clearly Miami wanted the ball to go. They wanted to get it to Wong. Forrest was so up in him, he wouldn't even allow him to get a touch, gets the turnover, and draws the foul. That is just one of the many reasons why Coach Hamilton loves Forrest so much. Couldn't even get him the ball, Obi.
Trent Forrest, 82% foul shooter. And drops in number 1. 6.3 on the clock here for Miami.
It's an eternity. When you got a dynamo at 5'7" like Chris Likes, he'll find a spot on the floor to get what he wants here. Got to get a good outlet with momentum. Florida State wisely will apply pressure here to take away any of that momentum going towards the goal the other way.
Three-point man Vasilovic back on now for the Hurricanes, and they will take a timeout with 6.3 to play here in the half, and a lot of points. Well, nothing but net every Sunday is our weekly basketball studio show. We preview the matchups ahead, look back at the best games from last week with highlights, analysis, insight. Tomorrow's show at 8 Eastern right here on the ACC Network and the ESPN app. So Jim Larrañaga to drop a play here in the last 6 seconds.
And this play will undoubtedly be your 5'7" guard Chris Likes coming off some sort of curl, leading him with momentum going the other way. Probably a pull-up three. With his speed, though, he could get all the way into the paint. But this is going to be a ball that finds its way into the hands of number 0. Trent Forrest, 6'4", will be tasked with trying to keep him in front. Here you go.
So, yeah, long deep in the backcourt. He's going to have to heave it from midcourt. And that'll miss with Florida State taking the lead in the locker room here at home at halftime. 50-47.
Would. Now, look, I know they still lead the league in steals, but imagine how much more aggressive that offense could be, defense could be, if you can trust there's a guy to erase all the mistakes at the rim, and they do not have that.
Along with it here, 15 points for him in the first half. Another freshman, Harlan Beverly, played very well for the Canes to keep them right there. Stone off the fake. Here's Beverly. He'll get the look, but he can't stick it.
Great contest from Vassell. Not allowing anything easy, even the offering from 3.
Forrest on the baseline, just getting started here in the second 20 minutes. Patrick Williams trying to go in strong. And a foul in the first half minute of play. Fouled by Wardenberg. That's number 1 on Sam, the 6'10" junior.
I love what Coach Hamilton called Trent Forrest. He said he's the card dealer. He's the distributor. He distributes the cards to everybody playing, and that's exactly what he did in that sequence.
You know, came in, as we said, as a 3,000-point scorer in high school. So you figure, well, that's what he's going to do in college. He's going to be a big-time scorer. When he uses a phrase like, yeah, he's the dealer, he's the card dealer, that puts it all in perspective.
It really does, but it also speaks to this Florida State team. I mean, we know how the college game works. Guys want to be the star, and right now, Florida State has 10 true stars who could go star somewhere else, but allow themselves to play in this system, win together, and it could be a different guy's number called to be the star. That takes a true selflessness and team mentality, which this team possesses.
Long gets nailed, and he'll be at the line. And continues to get the basketball in a position to do something with it. As he is fouled by the Seminoles, M.J. Walker, number 2 on Walker.
I mean, OB, how many times do guys transfer because they feel like they're not being showcased enough or they're not getting enough minutes? Pat Williams is a McDonald's All-American. He got his career-high 14 points versus North Carolina last time out, and there's probably nobody more pleased with their role than Williams because of the kind of young man he is, and that's what Coach Hamilton recruits here with the Seminoles.
He's 17 for the freshman Isaiah Wong. Big story today for the Miami Hurricanes, 52-49. Vassell will give it up. On the spin, Forrest. And a beautiful shot there by Vassell will drain that. Shooting about 50% for the season. He now has 5 points in the game, so it's been a low-scoring game for him thus far. Stone, tough rebound, will lay that one up and in.
Stone just bodied Walker right there. Loitering on that low block, carved out some good offensive rebounding positioning. Bully ball.
Walker comes in averaging about 11 points a game. Nice touch there, but in and out. And rebounded away by Wardenberg.
Wardenberg really competed in the first matchup versus Florida State. Brought a toughness in the interior. Career high 11 rebounds. Tying his career high in that first.
Long working on a 17-point game. Wants to fire it up again and hits it from three. Boy, what an afternoon for Isaiah Wong, the New Jersey rookie.
I mean, in his last 4 games, he's been shooting 50% for three, 6 of 12. So he's got that confidence beyond the arc as well. And when you have to respect his drive and the three, it allows him to open up a world of opportunity.
Vassell airborne. Not there. Picks off the miss. Goes to the other side and lays it in. Man, he stayed right with it.
Vassell starting to become assertive here in the second half. Make his presence known.
It's 7. Thrown away right to Forrest. Dish into the corner and a wide open look. But that won't drop. Not this time for Vassell. A second effort by Forrest. And the Seminoles on the attack again. Will back that in. Fire and hit. He does so many things well for the Seminole team.
Forrest has been masterful here out of the gates to begin this second half.
He's had a lot of big games in very important games for Leonard over the years, like in the NCAA tournament. Regular season, had a nice one against Louisville this year. He had 29 out of 11 shooting. Inside close, Wurtenberg for 2. Using his size very effectively. Dish into the corner, long distance, and that one absolutely drained by Osborne. The transfer from Rice. Look at this, 10 out of 19 from 3-point distance for Seminoles.
And when Florida State's hitting threes like they have been for these last 4 or 5 games, you feel bad for the opposition, because with how many bodies they throw out there, with how athletic they are, with how they turn you over, couple that with double-figure threes and a good percentage, it's a tough out.
When they met at Coral Gables, and that went overtime, FSU pulling it out. Florida State was 10 for 28 from 3, so they've been much better today. Walker just picked up his 3rd foul, though, for the Seminoles. Beverly negotiating, swatted away, but a foul. Osborne cleaned it out, but a personal foul, too.
Cleaned it out indeed, but again, remaining aggressive. It's the best opportunity for this Miami offense. They don't shoot a great percentage from 3, so they've got to be in full-on attack mode.
Beverly to the line. He makes 74%. And following the conclusion of our game, be sure to stay tuned for men's lacrosse. We have number 14, Loyola of Maryland, battling the defending national champs. Number 2, Virginia. That's in Charlottesville. Right here on the ACC network and live on the ESPN app. Arlen Beverly with another one coming. And Miami refusing to go away, 62-57. You see the Canes are 14 for 16 from the foul line. FSU 8 for 8. They're both good foul shooting teams.
Purists love to see that. Free throws being made.
The kick back out. That'll be off target by Polite.
Freshman guard Isaiah Wong keeping it close with 20 points on the day so far. After a bad game, most players go to the gym and get shots up by themselves or with a teammate. Isaiah Wong says he calls his 3 brothers. The Wongs live 30 minutes from Coral Gables, so they drive to Miami's practice facility to work out with their brother. Isaiah says at least one will show up every time whenever he asks. Just last week, the 3 brothers got together, defended the freshman as he worked on his shot, and they critique him as he practices his follow-through. Wong says his family is extremely invested in his success, and I think we're seeing the effects of that today, guys.
How about that? You get on the phone with your brother. If I call my brothers about anything, I know I'm going to hear something different than praise and, hey, keep at it, doing a great job, but wonderful relationship he has.
Yeah, that's really cool. I mean, as me being in the middle of 3 boys in my life, you know, it was always the measuring stick was the older brother, and accountability was a theme woven between the 3 of us. So you always wanted to impress and achieve to make them happy. I'm sure Isaiah has that in his life. And I got to tell you, those 3 brothers must be pretty pleased with what they've seen here in Tallahassee this afternoon.
Well, he's been nothing short of spectacular today. As Katie mentioned, 20 points. He's the big reason Miami is able to stay within striking distance so far. That's going to go the other way. 15:38 to go on the turnover. Wilkes has been terrific for the Seminoles. As 8 turnovers now for Miami. It was really FSU turnovers, the big story of the first half.
And Miami cannot let that become a theme for them moving forward here in the second half if they want to stay in it. Value in the basketball has allowed them to score.
Turnover by Forrest there.
It's an awkward one.
Yeah.
Don't see that typically from a short-handed senior. Yeah, I mean,
Double dribble?
both hands caught it. It's a double. Yeah, that's a double.
It's a great point, too, about officials, you know, especially when you're looking at Trent Forrest. You've done a bunch of his games. You know how short-handed he is. Doesn't make many mistakes like that. But you've got to be ready.
You got to be ready. And you also got to look, if you're the other side, the opposition, to take advantage of it. Miami does not.
Forrest with a tremendous pass there. Wilkes got a look there, decided not to fire it up. He was on fire in the first half. And Chuck, before that foul, he was fouled on the play. And a personal foul against Stone with 15:05 to go.
Tell you what, you kind of cringe when you watch 7 feet, 260 pounds of muscle go barreling into the defense.
They go right back downstairs to him, and he buries that. So Florida State has opened up their biggest advantage of the day, 66-57.
This is around the time where the depth of Florida State overwhelms the opponent. Miami was able to hang in the first matchup. Do they have a response?
Wong again, trying to be a one-man show today. He pretty much has been. And a foul with 14:34 remaining. Back to the big guy in the post.
Old school, clinical right here. Look how he carves out the space, gets a defender on the hip, creating an angle for the dump down. Olunichek knows what to do with the finish. And Coach Hamilton's offense, the bigs are going to be featured on that low block. You better have a skill set. Olunichek does.
A terrific trap, nearly forced the turnover for the Seminoles. Likes back out for Stone, gets an excellent look, but off the front of the iron. And now Forrest wants to run. Broken up by Stone as he got back quickly on defense. Beverly poked from behind by Forrest. And another turnover. Stone picks it.
Oh, this is fun. Not if you're a coach.
No. Likes to the paint. A slam attempt is going to roll off the iron by Walker. The 6'9" freshman could not finish it. What a sequence that was.
Welcome to noon basketball, ladies and gentlemen.
Over the top. And a whistle. Now to go the other way. That's going to be an offensive. Olunichek will pick up the personal.
I'm shocked they're not going to go to the monitor to look at the level of flagrant on that one. Continue to play basketball is something I enjoy. Let's keep it moving. Yeah, I mean, that was definitely contact, and it looked almost deliberate, in my opinion, from that view.
Stone hitting the deck.
Malicious, I don't know, but deliberate to create space, absolutely.
13.5 to go here in Tallahassee. And the Seminoles trying to open it up and run away here against their state rival, the Hurricanes. Shot clock at 7. Everything muscling his way inside. Not enough muscle there, and a foul. A bit of frustration maybe starting to bubble up now for the Hurricanes.
I'm not quite sure where Beverly was going with that basketball. That's a freshman learning as he goes. That needs to be a pull-up. Float that thing over the big fella. He took one step too many, and you got into the deep.
Anthony Walker, his second foul for the Hurricanes. And 13-19 to go here, and we have a timeout. Getting back in the fold today, but they see they have struggled.
And this was to be expected, OB, and even talking with Coach Larinaga, he too expected this. He knew rust would be an issue. He knew simply not being fully healthy would be an issue. Lack of repetition and conditioning. Those have all played a factor with Likes dealing with the groin, McGusty dealing with the back. And because of that, you have two guards, freshman guards in Wong and Beverly, who knew that they were going to have to carry the load. They have done that, but it's been the theme for Miami all season long. Injuries, couple that with Rodney Miller not traveling, you have not seen the best of Miami, save for a few games this season.
Ronnie Miller, the 7-footer, did not make the trip here. 8 points, 6 rebounds a game. So yet another miss for the Hurricanes, who have been bedeviled by injuries. Wilkes off the fake. Shot clock down to 8. He'll swing that to Forrest. Now 4 to get up a shot as he drives it and scores it. So steady.
And that's a perfect example of McGusty, who's a solid defender. Because of that back, a little bit more upright, and that's simply Forrest able to exploit it for a basket.
So now they're up by 11. That's going to be a traveling violation. They force another turnover. Miami's been doing that a lot since halftime, and they have 10.
I have no idea how Wilkes saw this to swing it cross court to Forrest, who settles, waits patiently, then explores the blow by versus McGusty, who's obviously still a little bit injured with that back. Credit to Wilkes, a shooter with vision, too.
And do you sense now, with 12:35 to go in the contest, this is a real danger zone for Miami?
Yeah, no question. I think the fatigue has hit them with the lack of depth they typically have. Their stars and likes of McGusty simply don't have it right now. So in a lot of ways, they're empty minutes. And this is where Florida State really takes grip of their opponent and starts to take control.
Wilkes coming in strong with the rebound, kicks it back out for Polite to set it up again. Go once again to the big, can't cash in, tipped out. Here come the Hurricanes on the attack. Here's Likes, he sticks a 3. Man, they need a lot more of that.
Yeah, big time. Opportunities in the open floor. Miami's got to max out in those.
He's 16 points a game. He has 6 so far today. Vassell weaving his way closer for 2. He's got that mid-range game.
Took the words right out of my mouth. I love the mid-range OB of Vassell. He's just such a confident performer in that space, and that speaks to repetition in practice and after hours. It's a guy who loves the game, and it translates here in these ACC contests.
15 to 17 footers can be a lost art. McGusty can't hit. Florida State by 10 on Miami. And Likes with a body on Polite will commit the foul. 70 to 60 here in Tallahassee. FSU on top by 10. What do you think? I mean, is this going to come down to the last couple of shots, or?
It has to, doesn't it? I mean, you got Cole Anthony, who's a flat-out star. You've got an interior that can compete with Vernon Carey and Baycott and Brooks. And it's this rivalry, which to me is the best rivalry in college sports. And it ain't even close. Go ahead and at me. Go ahead and at me on Twitter. I absolutely believe that this game will deliver because time and time again it has.
No question about that. 10-point lead here for FSU. With 11:15 to go, that'll be on Likes, his second.
Are you one of the masses who thinks it's going to be a lopsided one Duke's way? Because I think we're going to have a close one.
I agree with that, and I think that this is where you're going to see a lot of the better moments out of Cole Anthony. You know, coming back to life, so to speak.
Yeah.
He's had a couple of games, got to work himself back into game shape. And I expect him to have a really good evening. And again, a 6 o'clock tip. The Light slamming on the brakes and gave it up on the turnover. Kind of a sloppy day here today for the Seminoles with 15 turnovers. And they end up by double figures here. Early with a bounce. See if Likes can get hot here down the stretch. Tries to scoop, but a miss. Rebound tipped out high. Play with a nifty give there. Walker. Swing back inside and 2. So now a 72 to 60 lead and a foul on the play.
And you talk about being overwhelmed. Balsha Koprivica, a guy who gets steady minutes for this team, comes in and delivers a basket. I mean, this is a guy who plays 11.5 minutes per game, scores about 5 points per game, slides in and makes a big-time play to pile on with the score. With the game, it's at a crossroads, because that's where it's at right now. Miami can remain competitive in this one, put game pressure on Florida State, or the numbers and depth of Florida State can overwhelm them and really open it up.
Likes again. No, he has been chilly throughout the afternoon. on the drive. Gives himself a look, but another miss. So the rust is still there in a big way.
That's exactly what it is. I mean, that's a basket that Likes gives you 10 times out of 10. This hasn't been out there. The game reps aren't there due to the groin injury that's kept him out for the game.
Koprivica again, this time short. 7-1 freshman.
Koprivica just kicked that thing back out, post repost. Bury that defender even deeper, then you give it right back, and then you've got an easy basket going the other way over a 6'3" defender in Vasiljevic. I think it's a favorable matchup for Likes outside. He should get that ball back.
Beverly way short. 13-point lead for the Seminoles, trying to build on that here on their home court.
There's not a guy on this floor that can keep Chris Likes in front of him defensively and avoid him getting to the paint. And it certainly is not Koprivica outside. That's a missed opportunity for the Kings.
And a missed dunk by the big fella. Koprivica right on top of the iron, but no. Vasiljevic, yes, nice touch there from three-point land.
They're going to need to start to get some of these threes to go to chip away at this lead. Definitely still within striking distance, but Vasiljevic can get high. So can Likes.
He has 12. So staying in, and that's going to be an offensive foul. Wartburg takes the hit. So that'll go on Patrick Williams and be number 4 on the freshman.
Let's see here. Wardenberg does a good job moving his feet. Yeah, you've got Williams lower in the boom, and the position was good enough for Wardenberg to earn that charge call.
Beverly will drive it and dish it, and a foul. Wardenberg will head to the line where he makes 62%. Both teams have been very good at the foul line all afternoon.
I'll tell you, as we observed this Florida State team, that is one clear level, evidently, of vulnerability, is they struggle to keep guards in front at times. And the breakdown off the dribble has allowed Miami to discover a plethora of opportunities.
And another one coming for Sam Wardenberg. Well, tomorrow night at 9 Eastern on the ACC Network, we bring you a terrific piece on a 2015 Virginia baseball team. They lost that heartbreaker in a College World Series and made the 1,186-mile trip back to Omaha to finish the job in 2015. We've seen a lot of documentaries about Virginia sports teams the last couple of years. Coming back from tragic losses, really. Walker with the drive. That won't drop for him.
Resiliency, the theme there in Charlottesville, no question. Appreciate the content they provided, the ACC Network.
Chris Likes will drop that one in. Well, they are still hanging in the game. 73-67.
2-possession game.
And a ton of time left, over 8 minutes. Looks from the corner. He was really hot in the first half. That didn't touch anything, but it's going to be cleaned up very nicely by Anthony Polite.
That's tough for Polite to get in there with 3 defensive rebounders in position. That's a want-to that Polite simply possess more of.
Beverly, tough shot. Off balance in transition. Here comes Walker. Looks looking inside. 7.5 minutes to go here in Tallahassee. Evans, that one opened up beautifully for him. Raekwon Evans will lay it in. Give him 7.
Help side was not even in the nearest county there. Where that was as big a path and gap to the goal as you'll find.
11 players have now scored for the Seminoles. As that great balance continues. 7:11 to go and a whistle. Likes a little bit shaken up, but that lane was wide open, as you mentioned.
I mean, show me any help side. This is just a fundamental breakdown defensively, as Evans could have laid that in. Probably the most improved player in this conference. And in first half to second, that improvement evident as well. Made some big-time shots to sustain this lead for the Seminoles. Such a fluid athlete, a willing teammate who, again, is just another piece of a bunch of stars who are willing to defer to the others depending on who's got it going. Right now, Devin Vassell has it going in the second half of this story.
Some terrific games this season. Against Virginia Tech, he had 27, 7 for 7 from the three-point line, a tied an ACC and FSU record. And against Miami in the first meeting, of course, Florida State won that one in overtime. He had 23 and 11. 77-69. No goal away in Miami today, at least not to this point. And a shove there by Likes, who's piled up some fouls here in the last 3 minutes. That'll be his third. And Forrest will be at the line.
You know why I think me and Coach Hamilton see the comparisons of Rip Hamilton and Paul George to Devin Vassell is because the athleticism, the shot-making ability, but the fact that they're both two-way players. Great offensively, equal parts defensive.
Nothing But Net every Sunday is our weekly basketball studio show. Previewing the matchups ahead and a look back at the best games of the week. Tomorrow's show at 8 Eastern right here on the ACC Network.
Should have a whole lot to talk about come tomorrow, depending on how the rest of this day shakes out.
Very busy day in the ACC. And of course, Louisville on the agenda. They're coming up at 4 o'clock today, taking on Virginia, the reigning national champions. 79-69, Trent Forrest with his first. Brings a grin from Leonard, a former Miami head coach. And the first one will be dropped in by Wong. Been a long time since he had scored. But he has 23 on the day. And he'll make one of 2. Rebound hauled in by the Seminoles. Walker going strong. And a kick for the corner. And nothing but net by Williams. 82-70.
It's also impressive to me for a team that goes so deep. Means there's a bunch of different lineups that are thrown out there. For the chemistry that these guys all share, despite their rotating pieces, is another thing that stands out to me and how locked in this team is.
Stone tried to save it, but right back over. Vassell in close for 2. He's really had a fine second half, and that means a timeout for Jim Larrañaga and Miami that lead the biggest of the day at 14.
It's a connected bunch. These guys play off each other beautifully. They all guard. They share the ball. Look no further than MJ Walker, one of their best scorers, kicks it out to Patrick Williams, the McDonald's All-American, who's finding his footing. And then live ball turnovers. Trent Forrest will find the open man. Devin Vassell, a true star. And just like that, it's a 14-point cushion for Florida State in a blink of an eye.
So 5:57 remaining, 14-point lead for the Seminoles. Let's go to Katie George.
Well, you guys have both mentioned how impressed you've been with Vassell throughout the second half. Dave, he scored 27 like you alluded to against Virginia Tech. He only scored 6 on Monday night against North Carolina. So I asked him, what did you see when you went back and looked at that film? And you know what he said? I could have done more on the defensive end. I let up defensively. He didn't even once mention the 6 points. And that just goes to show his attitude and his mindset. It's not all about the scoring for a guy who's a very capable scorer.
Wow, I don't think I'm allowed to have favorites in a conference, but KG, after a report like that, it's hard not to be all in on Devin Vassell, a guy who doesn't care about the offensive numbers. That is a rarity in today's game.
Miami trying to answer from way downtown, but can't do it. And suddenly the Hurricanes are in a lot of trouble with 5.5 minutes to go. Williams went up for the tip, tried to win it back, knocked away by Miami. Here's Likes. finding that paint with a teardrop. No.
That's, again, the repetition. The game reps he's not had. Typically converts them.
Battle at midcourt. Comes back away to the Canes. And way downtown off the front of the iron. Silovic had a good open look, but it would not drop for him. And a lot of the shots that fell in the first half for Miami have not been falling in the last 10 minutes.
They need that stroke of luck. They need that three-point shot with how undermanned they are, even with two of their stars returning, but clearly playing hurt.
No basket, foul before the shot. And Vasiljevic will pick up the personal, 84-70.
Let's see, you've got Walker in isolation. If I'm a Canes fan, that left arm clearly provided the advantage. Looks like the hook and hold move right there to get past it. That should have been offensive.
Walker making 82% at the line. And so now Florida State get comfortable here with less than 5 minutes to play. And Walker with another one coming. And makes the pair. And Jay Walker, team captain, makes it 86-70. And Florida State's been absolutely perfect at the foul line, 15 for 15.
They've really dialed it in defensively, taking away a lot of those driving lanes here in the second half, giving up 47 points in the first half, dramatically changing that approach in the second half, only giving us 23.
Long with 4 to get up a shot, lost his footing, and out of play it goes, and they turn it over again. Florida State on a 7-zip run. Now, they've turned it over 18 times, but Miami's turned it over more frequently in the second half. And the Canes trying to pressure the basketball here in the last 4. Morris trapped deep in the corner. Barely got it through to Walker. Up ahead to Gray. Here's Williams for the slam. Well, you knew that was coming. Williams with a dozen, 88-70.
Can we get another entrant into the NBA dunk contest? I think Williams would fit in nicely.
Up back to that slam.
Wow. That elevator arrives at a different floor. Buddies. Patrick Williams. But always within control of his body. But patience. Slow first half. Doesn't try to force it in the second half. Takes what the game allows him. That's why he's so efficient, productive, and one of the best in the conference.
Now Devin Vassell, our player of the game, brought to you by Zaxby's. 13 points, 5 rebounds, shooting 5 for 9. And a lot of those shots as smooth as butter.
All it takes is one guy in the rotation of 10, sometimes 11 for Florida State, to become greedy, a me-first guy, and it's a domino effect of negativity and disruption. But there's not one guy on this team who doesn't buy into what Coach Hamilton's doing, and that's why this team's one of the best in the country.
Walker will kick it, the corner jumper, that clangs away. Williams with the rebound, and slams in the miss. I think he got a little angry. He missed the bunny.
I mean, how about the second burst to miss the layup, cut back, and jump higher for the putback dunk?
Patrick Williams, the freshman, had a really nice one with 14 points. Came in averaging 8. He's 5 out of 7 shooting. Well, that's a high percentage shot.
Yes, yes, it is indeed. That ties his ACC high at 14 points coming out that North Carolina game.
Silovic with a turnaround, a foul underneath, 2:57 showing.
This is just getting after it. Not a lot of people in the country can do this. You miss your layup, you bounce right back up with the tip dunk in traffic. That's that aggressiveness and that edge when Patrick Williams plays with it. Allows him to be productive for a consecutive game like this. He is an elite talent. He's a next-level talent.
Yep.
Getting that fire from such a reserved, nice young man. When he finds that, the world is his. He's discovered it.
He is bouncy, too, isn't he?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Trent Forrest just went to the bench for the Seminoles. Got a very nice hand. It's nice that the fans here in Tallahassee appreciate his career. All the things he's been able to do here for Leonard Hamilton, far and away FSU's assist leader. And some really nice moments in key games, including the NCAA tournament. For Trent. Florida State putting this one pretty much on ice over the last 5 or 6 minutes, really wearing down Miami with that depth and the quality of the depth that they have. It's one thing to play 10 or 11 or 12 guys.
So true.
It's something else what the Seminoles have.
Because it's no drop-off, OB. It's a great point. It's not like you're saying, oh, we're emptying the bench, but we play a lot of guys. There's no drop-off. Each of these guys brings something somewhat different, but also very similar. So it's the same style, and none of that is mitigated from this team.
2:35 to go. We march to the other end. So Florida State on their way to a 20-3 record and 10-2 in the ACC should they wrap this one up. And again, the only team in the ACC to go undefeated at home so far this year, on the verge of going 61-3 in their last 64 home games. This would be 20 in a row at home, but obviously a huge one coming up on the road on Monday on ESPN to take on number 7 Duke, in which should be an absolute dandy.
You got to feel good about the timing of that matchup with the emotions that'll most likely still be bleeding off that game tonight versus their heated rival. Maybe you catch a vulnerable Duke. Regardless, the teams match up beautifully, and it's going to be an absolute fight.
Likes with his 4th foul. They also have a rematch with Louisville. They are the one team to knock off the Cardinals so far this season.
On their home floor, nonetheless.
Home floor, yep.
And did it with relative ease. The shot making of Florida State really came to the forefront in that one. Mixed in with their defensive effort and pressure.
FSU beating them in conference play. Only conference loss for Louisville at this point, 78-65. Evans at the line. And they continue to pour them in from the stripe here with 2:26 to play in Tallahassee. And he missed the second one. It's their first miss today. They had made 16 in a row. Earlier this season, they made 17 of 17 in a game, and that was the school record. They were on the verge of tying it before finally missing. But an exceptionally good foul shooting team, and you know that's going to serve them quite well come tournament time.
Yeah, especially when you got that many bodies playing downhill. The opportunities are going to be there. Tournament time, that is huge, no question.
Weak side, the rebound pops out of play. It'll be back over to Miami with 1:52 to go. And time for Leonard to empty his bench.
More so than usual.
Even more so, if that's possible.
Yeah, all right.
He does it over 40 minutes. And he's doing it here down the stretch and getting the players who played so well today for the Seminoles the opportunity to be celebrated by the fan base.
You go any further down, you'll see Chuck Walsh potentially getting minutes. Our famed sports information director who does a wonderful job.
Chuck's just outstanding. And leads for the Seminoles. And from the corner, Wartburg will knock down a long distance shot. But a little too late for Miami. Well, they hung in there maybe longer than some expected today, to be honest with you, Jordan.
Yeah, and I think if you get a little bit more from McGusty and Likes, their 2 stars, who are working their way back from injury and played how I expected them to, with rust and at times limited minutes, most especially for McGusty, that's what's going to happen. The 30th minute, and then you're just going to hit a wall.
And Florida State to pick up their 20th win of the season. Came in with all sorts of streaks here. And official timeout with 1:02 to go. And Raekwon Evans stepping on now for the Seminoles. Among others, Patrick Williams really had a fine afternoon here, leading the charge for FSU.
I think that's a big development for the Seminoles team. A productive Patrick Williams. He's been good all year, but really scoring and rebounding at a high clip.
They're going way down the bench now. An opportunity for a number of guys to get some minutes. And they're actually contributing on the scoreboard, making a run at 100 points. Getting the walk-ons into the game as well. Beverly underneath, he'll drop in 2.
We got one of the rare smiles on the sidelines from Coach Hamilton in that moment. They want a third. Coach Hamilton ain't gonna let it happen.
Now let's get the hand down, slow it down. And a foul on the play with 15 seconds to go. Now the fans probably louder here at the end today.
These guys are ones to make them better in practice. And they deserve their moment in the sun for their hard work during the week to be paid off here. And you love the starters, the guys who get rotation minutes celebrating like they got the basket. It's a beautiful thing. The team game, that's why we play.
So 99-81 coming up next. LaCrosse. So for my partner, George Cornett, and for Katie George, Dave O'Brien, thanks so much for joining us today. Florida State sailing to a win here, 99-81 over Miami. And continue to roll now, 20-3 and 10-2 in the ACC. Loyola of Maryland and Virginia coming up in lacrosse. We say goodbye from Tallahassee.